Welcome to KRA's The Hub, the official podcast of KRA Corporation. And now get ready to hear workforce topics and trends you need to know on the go.
Welcome back to KRA's The Hub podcast. This is the host, Jonathan Overall, and I am here today in Maryland at the Maryland Workforce Association's Raising the Bar Conference. And this is the 2025 conference. Can't believe it's been a year since the last one in 2024. But it's been a great conference thus far. A lot of great conversations with leaders and influencers within workforce development. And I'm joined now with Kirkland Murray. He is the president and CEO of the Maryland Workforce Association, as well as the executive director of Arundel Workforce Development Board Corporation. Kirkland, it's great to see you again.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for being here.
And thank you for being back here on the Hub. We were just talking, it was a year ago.
Yep.
And we had a conversation. Then a lot has happened over the last year, not just in our world, government, new administration, but also workforce development. We've seen a lot of changes. Some topics have taken on a fresh take as well, with innovation and automation influencing the workforce industry. But let's start off with this conference. Obviously, the title, the theme is Raising the Bar. What does that theme mean to you and those that are attending the conference? What do you want them to walk away with?
So first of all, happy Workforce Development Professional Month. So September is Workforce Development Professional, for the professionals that are doing workforce development every day. So this, National Association of Workforce Development Professionals created this several years ago to really honor those individuals that are doing this work year out. So that's why we really put this conference in September this month. And the conference is really about honoring those professionals that are in the career centers, out in the communities, day in, day out, helping individuals to achieve their career goals, working with businesses to help them to attract, retain, and upskill talent that they need to be successful. So having this Raising the Bar conference is a way to celebrate them, but give them a chance to come in, learn new things, network with other people. This year's theme was superheroes, because they are the superheroes of Maryland. They're the ones that are doing this and making Maryland a great place and helping people. So we really wanted to honor them, give them a chance to come in to get their superhero powers back, learn new things, network with different people, and just enjoy themselves. We want this to be a learning experience, but we also want this to be a fun experience. Last night, we had several receptions honoring them. We even do karaoke, so they can have some fun. So it's really about learning, but it's also about really celebrating the people who are really doing this very important work.
That's great. And thank you again for mentioning National Workforce Development Professionals Month. And I send the same to you. Happy National Workforce Development Month. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a lot has happened over the last year. Mm-hmm. A lot has happened here locally in Maryland as well. The state has had to navigate both national uncertainty when it comes to the funding of WIOA going into the future, as well as local workforce challenges. Maryland has been hit hard by some of the recent federal layoffs. From your perspective, what do you feel is most urgent for the workforce system in Maryland, and how can it respond in these uncertain times?
So that's the one thing about the Maryland workforce system. We respond to whatever is thrown at us, whatever happens. Earlier today, Secretary of Labor Portia Wu talked about the conversation she and I have had about March. March has always been an interesting month in workforce development. March of 2020, you have a pandemic. Workforce development needed to respond to that. March of 2024, we had a bridge collapse here, the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. So we had to respond to that. And then now, like you mentioned, some of the layoffs at the federal level. So workforce development is always nimble, and we always respond to whatever crisis or whatever situation. I mean, right now, the big focus in workforce development here in Maryland is, the federal employees. This is a regional issue. We're partnering with Virginia, DC, and Maryland to make sure that these federal employees who are transitioning out of the federal government, who are leaving the federal government, making sure that we're here to help them and help them make that transition. My mother was a career-long federal worker. And one of the reasons why she stayed with the federal government wasn't for the pay or anything like that. It was for the mission of the work and for job security. So a lot of those individuals never thought they were going to be in this situation. So, we've been really busy working with them. Maryland Workforce Association, along with several of the local areas we've hired. We've hosted hiring events for them to come to be able to network, get back into employment. We've had droves of people coming to these. We have businesses that are very exciting to see them and looking to hire them. We've, in Anne Arundel County specifically, we've put up a series of workshops. The first workshop we're doing is emotional intelligence. Just dealing with that part that now you're unemployed. The fact that you now have to go look for something new and different to do and get yourself into that mindset to do that. And then, of course, their resume, working with them on their resume, taking that government resume and translating it into language that the private sector is looking for. So we've been here to do that. Of course, we're all trying to figure out AI. And AI, and we're looking at AI for several different ways. One is, how do workforce development professionals use AI to better assist their clients and to do their job? So MWA Learning, we're doing a AI workshop coming up pretty soon. We did it in the spring of the year, sold out. We're doing that again. We're looking at working with University of Baltimore, UMBC training centers. They have an AI academy that we're looking at. How do we not only put workforce development professionals through this so that they're comfortable with using AI, but also our job seekers. People are coming in that are, looking for a new job, wanting to know AI, especially those that are more senior workers, that are, looking to upgrade their skills. So AI is a big thing that we're leaning into for workforce development. Again, continuing to work. I mean, Maryland is still, even though it's starting to tick up a little bit, Maryland still has a very low unemployment rate. There's still more job openings than there are individuals to fill those. So we're really working with our business community to make sure we're building a pipeline of skilled workers for them so they can continue to grow and thrive here in the state of Maryland. So workforce development, there's no slowing down in it. We're always busy, always out there responding to whatever is needed from us.
Now, in your role, you have the local lens in Anne Arundel County, and your role overseeing a state association like this, you see a lot. Mm-hmm. And that question and what you just responded to is a great example of the outlook. This year's conference, one of the themes is innovation and collaboration. What examples have you seen over the last year or even recently that come to mind that have been a great example to model of collaboration and innovation amongst businesses, community partners, workforce agencies, and the impact that that's had?
So collaboration, workforce development, we have to collaborate with a lot of our partners, the business community, to really make sure that we're engaging with the business community, to really understand what their workforce needs are and how we can make sure that we're preparing our job seekers for those skills that they're looking for. We're collaborating with community partners out in the community, faith-based, and different organizations like that to make sure that we are getting our services out and working closely with those partners. So collaboration, workforce boards, that's our real purpose here, is really collaborating with different parts of our community. Collaborating with our business partners to make sure that we understand what their needs are, what talent they're looking to attract and hire, what those skills are that they're looking for individuals so that we can better prepare our job seekers. We're in the communities collaborating with different partners that represent different populations, reentry or, here in Anne Arundel County with Fort Meade being here, we have transitioning service members and spouses and dependents of service members. So really collaborating with Fort Meade and really making sure that we're providing services from there. But as you know, here in Maryland, we started something new about 3 years ago. We're going to our third year now. and with the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, where the workforce boards are working with the local school systems and the community colleges to prepare middle and high school students for careers. So we're in all the middle schools and high schools here in Maryland. Some of the school systems have hired the career coaches, but some of the workforce boards, like for example in Arundel and Prince George's and Montgomery, we've hired the career coaches going into the schools to prepare. That's big collaboration, really both sides coming together, really working together to make sure that we're putting together a program that really helps students in middle school to really identify themselves, their work values, their work strengths, and then link those to careers. And as they progress into high school, giving them more and more opportunities to really experience those careers so that when they graduate, no matter if they're going to college or if they're going right into the workforce or if they're going to the military, they're better prepared to know what type of careers they're really suited for.
It's great. What qualities or strategies do you believe will be most important for the workforce leaders of Maryland and beyond? Thinking of the thing, raising the bar, what would some of those strategies or qualities be in your mind?
So when you talk about raising the bar here in Maryland and you're really looking at what type of qualities and what's important for a workforce development professional, especially our leadership, it's really that innovation. You really have to really look at how do you do things a little bit different based on what's going on in your economy, with new technologies coming out. How do you really look at the best way to help your community and thrive here, both working with your businesses to make sure that they are getting the talent, but also making sure that our clients, our job seekers that are coming into our career centers, that we're really meeting their needs and really helping them to get the skills that they need to start and transition and advance in a career.
And lastly, I want to ask you this as a key message for those that probably aren't here, they're listening to this, but I know vicariously they're listening to this podcast and not getting the full experience of raising the bar this year, but the message that you want for the attendees here and for those that might be listening going ahead, what would some takeaways be for some of the topics kind of in summary that we've talked about thus far, the background, the uncertainty, the trends, and some of the challenges that are facing workforce here locally? What would that message be?
So my first message to workforce development professionals who are here at the conference, your listeners, is thank you for what you're doing. You guys are that superhero that's really out there day in and day out and helping your communities grow and thrive. So, but coming to a conference like Raising the Bar, it's a chance for you to rejuvenate yourself, learn new skills, network with individuals, just take time for yourself. And to really just recharge your batteries and recharge your superpowers for that. So we always encourage people to attend our Raising the Bar conference. It's every September. Next year, we're moving to a new location in Baltimore City at the Baltimore Hilton. We got more people. Over this conference, we had over 1,200 people here over the last 3 days. This year, we did something new. Our first day on Monday was a youth forum where we really talked about, where it was really dedicated to those professionals or frontline staff that are either working in our schools in our K through 12 system or those that are working with out of school youth. So really having them come in, networking to know different things, talk about the blueprint, where we are with Blueprint for Maryland's Future, where we're going with Blueprint for Maryland's Future. So it's a great opportunity for them to get together. And then the last 2 days were our other workforce professionals working with both job seekers and businesses to come in and learn. So it's a great opportunity for people to come. They're in this profession. We really value professional development from our frontline staff. This is what makes Maryland a leader in workforce development. Is the fact that we invest so much. From the stage, I encouraged everyone to get their Certified Workforce Development Professional certification through NARDA. And that opportunity to really make sure you have what I kept saying, that real superpower and that competency, which helps you not only do your job now, but it also helps you in your career. Sometimes we forget, we're in workforce development, but we need to look at workforce development for those professionals who are doing workforce development. So it's a great opportunity. Really appreciate you and KRA's support of this conference. And, for anybody who wants to come out, please go to our website and we'll be announcing the dates for our 2026 conference.
Well, I want to thank you, Kirkland, as well, and your organization for the thoughtfulness. I think from the theme of being a superhero and superheroes needing that self-care, I've noticed that you guys have the self-care stations where people can just tell us a little bit about that as well.
So it's important. I mean, we have the self-care stations where people can just go relax and just take this all in and digest all this. I mean, Joy Thomas, who was our keynote speaker yesterday, really talked about that, really talked about, the professionals that are doing this. Take care of yourself, right? Our theme was rise up and doing that. So, all of our speakers, we're very proud that all of our keynote speakers were women, and most of them are women of color. Everything from Senator Alsabrook, who was here this morning, to Secretary Wu, to the president of BG&E. So it's been a great conference. It really has been. Not to brag, but we are one of the largest state associations conferences out there.
Well, I know there's a lot to look forward to for next year. And I think that the theme of pause, reflect, and to think about yourself and your own care, mental health is so key for those that are doing this work. And so again, kudos to a great conference this year. Very large. I've been to some other state conferences, and 1,200 for a state conference. That's like a national conference.
It is.
Great job in getting the word out and involving such a large number of the professionals here in Maryland.
Thank you. And thank you again for your support.
Definitely. See you again next year.
All right. Likewise. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for listening to KRA's The Hub. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To learn more about KRA Corporation, visit www.kra.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back soon with a new episode.